Oh, this World Cup is delivering on the upsets. Sure, people will always complain about a 0-0 draw, but there have been some incredible surprises. Hey, if you're new around here, I'm Adrian, by the way, and if you're new around here and want daily World Cup content, then all you gotta do is subscribe for free. All right, let's get started. Germany versus Japan was our opener to Group E, an exciting group, no? And it was an exciting match as well. As you guys will remember from 2018, Japan are a great side. Their defensive form has been the highlight coming into this tournament, as they had a good run of clean sheets prior to Canada beating them 2-1 in their final match before Qatar. Germany, one of the deepest squads in the tournament, some great players like Musiala and Gnabry coming into this tournament in very good form. How many times can I say tournament? The one position I'm not super convinced on would be the striker, where Havertz started versus Japan, strictly from a goal conversion point of view, as he contributes in more than just goals. I know that. Fullbacks, we'll get to them later. While Germany were probing and trying to cut through Japan's 2 blocks of 4, it was Japan who put the ball into the net first in this game. Great ball into Maeda, and he finished well, but he was well offside. A warning shot to Germany, though, as Japan are nice in transition with that attack of Maeda, Kamada, Ito, and Kubo. And then with the subs later. Whew. Something I noticed from watching Japan versus Canada pre-tournament is Japan can be vulnerable from set pieces at times. And speaking of warning shots, Rudiger did so from a corner as his header bounced just wide of the post. And as the half moved along, the more comfortable Germany got out there, as they began to pass their way through Japan and carve out opportunities, mostly from the edge of the box. Gundogan was one of the main perpetrators. That is until Rome got in behind and Japan goalkeeper Shuichi Gonda came flying out at him and managed to trip him up twice. The second of which was a bona fide penalty, and Gundogan made no mistake with the finish, hitting it straight down the middle as Gonda dove out of the way. From then on, Germany had plenty of opportunities in the first and second half, but Gonda was superb in goal for Japan to stop most of them beyond, his first mistakes, and a Musiala chance that went over the bar and Gundogan hitting the outside of the post. Japan was all hands on deck in defense sometimes, hitting Germany in transition, not really troubling Neuer until the 73rd minute when he had to make a stunning save to deny Japan of an equalizer, and that's where it started. They continued to really stretch Germany's back line. They kept pushing, and there was only so much Neuer could do to stop Ritsu Doan's finish. Deserved equalizer, and would you believe Asano would put them ahead? Another substitute getting in behind Germany's fractious backline, and he roofed it over Neuer's head for 2-1 Japan. The ball was great, the touch was superb, and the finish was inch perfect from that angle. As the match went on, Japan figured Germany out. The fullback positions were where they could hurt them, as Sula is a bit slow, as I thought Rudiger would be better at right back and Sula in the middle, but that's just me. I'm not Hansi Flick. And Rome loves to push forward on the left and is definitely better attacking than defending. Diagonal runs from wide areas were killing Germany, and in the end, Japan held on. Questions to be asked of Hansi Flick as to why it took so long to sub Havertz, who has been poor all season, while Füllkrug can't stop scoring in the Bundesliga, and I think he's deserving of more minutes. Mukoko can make a claim as well. So massive credit to Japan, Moriyasu, and their entire squad for yet another lovely upset. Spain taking on Costa Rica, there's not much to glean from this one, is there? It went exactly as expected. No upset in this match, unfortunately, for Costa Rica. Like I said in my preview, or maybe it was my prediction video, I can't remember right now, but respect to Costa Rica for the fashion in which they qualified. It was an incredible comeback, and they finished level with the States on points. But this group always felt like they would just suffer. And the suffering started pretty early for them, as Pedri took hold of this game by the scruff of the neck in the midfield and was looking brilliant out there, a cut above everyone else. Olmo got the first, Asensio got the second with a well-worked goal and a tidy finish. Finally, Ferran Torres managed to score from the spot. He needed that. As his finishing seems to be directly tied to his confidence, it can get a little wayward sometimes. 3-0 at the half, no real hope for Costa Rica, as not only were they the weakest team in the group from the outset, but Spain looked very good. The Enrique ball was hitting, they were pinging it around, setting the record for the most amount of passes in the first half of a World Cup game since 1966 with 537 passes. And speaking of Ferran Torres and his confidence, he did well to score a fourth for Spain. Poor defending from Costa Rica, yes, but great persistence and strength from Ferran Torres before rolling it under Navas. Gavi got in on it. He made it 5-0 with a stunning volley. The finesse of such span-it-in pass off of the post. Pretty goal from the Golden Boy, youngest ever Spanish player at the World Cup, and their youngest ever scorer, and the youngest ever to score at a World Cup since Pele. Another, Spain made it 6 thanks to Carlos Soler. Another assist for Morata there as well, and he would get one himself to make it 7-0. Embarrassing for Costa Rica as they equal the record for their worst loss in their history, and they do it at the biggest stage. Well, it was good fun for Spain as they set the record for their biggest win. They sit atop the table on equal points with Japan, then Germany and Costa Rica. Next up, Spain versus Germany and Costa Rica versus Japan. Morocco versus Croatia. The first half didn't have me overly compelled. The thing that was mostly affecting that feeling, I think, was getting up at 5 a.m. to watch this game, but that's the challenge I put before myself for this tournament. Watch every match live until it becomes impossible to do so when there's matches at the same time. But anyway, the first half was a slow burner, I guess. No keeper was troubled until first half stoppage time when Croatia had a nice flurry of chances, forcing Bono to throw himself at a clearance, make a smart save on Vlasic, and watch Modric put one over the bar. These two sides largely canceled each other out, though, with Morocco's right side predictably being the most troublesome, with Ziyech and Hakimi buzzing around. Ziyech in particular looking dangerous with his deliveries into the box, those whipped in-swingers, but En-Nesyri couldn't get on the end of anything, really. Croatia really were lacking any sort of presence in the attack right down the middle, I found. Solid in wide positions, but no presence through the middle, which will likely be a bit of a weakness for them and put a reliance on goals coming from wide players and midfielders. The rest of the pitch, they look great, and while the second half did open up a little bit, this was still two teams largely cancelling each other out. Mazraoui had a decent opportunity for Morocco. Croatia had a couple of nice deliveries into the box from set pieces, but no one was there to meet them. 0-0 the final, and deservedly so. Not much as far as work for the keepers. To illustrate that for those who didn't watch, Morocco's XG was 0.35 from 8 attempts, Croatia's 0.66 from just 5 attempts. Like I said on Twitter, this marked the first match of the tournament where I probably could have benefited more from the sleep rather than getting up to watch the 5 a.m. kickoff. But, you know, the scouting work is important for review purposes, etc. Canada versus Belgium. I mean, it's the hope that kills you, right? And not necessarily hope going into this match, as this is the thing for Canada supporters right now. All we know is how Canada compares to CONCACAF teams, really. We haven't had a competitive match against a talented side from Europe or what have you in decades. So this was really the litmus test to see how Canada fares. And I think it's fair to say that they did really well. They dominated the ball, were good in the press, vastly superior XG of 2.61 to 0.76, but they just lacked quality in that final third. Speaking of the press, Canada had some early dominance in this game because of the massive corridor between Belgium's back line and their midfield. It was crazy, as well as how they were pressing the hell out of Den Donker especially, and the boys in Belgium's back line, forcing mistakes from them, misplaced passes, etc. Davies was the penalty taker for Canada, which was interesting to me, as I would expect Hoylett or David to take it, but we move. Poor penalty, really easy collect for Courtois, but maybe nerves were getting to him, and rightfully so. But as we always say, when you don't take your chances, especially against a talented team like Belgium, then you are asking to be punished. And punish Canada, Belgium did with the most unexpected of goals. It was very Brexit. Hoof the ball forward between Canada's center backs, questions to be asked of Vitoria's positioning, and let the big man Bats smash it in. Disappointing that was how Canada conceded, of all ways to concede. Now, there were a couple of mess ups from the referee, the most annoying one being the offside he called despite a Belgian player playing the ball back. Not offside. Then again, the referee was this dude, the guy who called game in the 85th minute in an AFCON game back in the day, which is crazy. Then there was the Larea and Witsel challenge. I'm split on that one. If they call it, which we have all seen those given before, I'm good with it. But if they don't, I'm okay with that too. Why? Because Larea stepped into Witsel's path, not the other way around. If Witsel stepped across Larea and took him out, it's a penalty all day, no question. In the end, Canada have a lot to be happy about here. Good in defense, midfield, and dangerous in the attack, but lacking quality in the final third. Not bad for their first match in 36 years at a World Cup, and definitely something to build off of when taking on Croatia and Morocco next, now that Belgium's out of the way. So as things stand, Belgium are at the top of the table, Morocco and Croatia mid-table, and Canada in last. And that will do it, fellas. Another World Cup daily recap is in the books. As always, thank you for joining me here once again. We're having a great time during this World Cup. It's very much appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.